All right. We should be live. I hope so. I think this is working. Let's wait for people to come in here. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. All right. Yo, yo, I see you guys in the comments now, trickling in. Audio sound good? Can you guys hear me? Yep. Ryan and Matt back again. A lot to talk about here. Oh, buddy. I haven't done one of these in a long time. Um I don't even know the last time I did a live. It's been a crazy time for me, so I feel like I'm getting back to my roots here. So, whew, so much news. Yes. So I wanted to go live to answer questions, give my thoughts, and yeah, we'll just see how long I can stick on here for you guys, and I'll try to, keep it entertaining. So, obviously, let me just start by saying I gave my take on the Bears' new GM and head coach, but I'll reiterate this. So Ryan Poles, the new GM, I thought it was a solid hire. Didn't think it was spectacular. I wanted a GM with experience who's shown he can build teams before. Ryan Poles does not have previous GM experience, but a lot of the GMs didn't. But again, heard good things about him. And then as far as Matt Eberflus, I wanted an offensive guy, and we didn't get one. So in both of those instances, I thought the hires were okay, solid, but not spectacular. And I'm sorry, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer here, but I'm not going to just say everything that the Bears do was an amazing move. No, you guys know, you guys don't follow me for that. When the Bears signed Andy Dalton, I said it was an awful move. And it did end up being awful. When the Bears signed Jimmy Graham, I said it was an awful move. Ended up being awful. When the Bears make moves I don't like, I will let you guys know. Now, I'm not saying I hate these moves. I don't. But they don't inspire me. They don't make me ecstatic. They don't make me happy. They make me just, feel meh. They make me just feel okay. So that's kind of where I'm at with this, right? Both Eberflus and Ryan Poles. And who knows, they could obviously be great, and I'm going to be rooting for them. That's the one thing I need everybody to understand is I'm going to be rooting for both Eberflus and Poles to be excellent and bring a Super Bowl to Chicago. But the reason you guys follow me, the reason you guys listen to me is because I'm not afraid to tell you how I feel. And to me, I did not get super excited about these hires. I thought they were just solid. That's it. So we'll see. But yeah, I want to answer questions. So let's go ahead and do so. So submit your questions in here, guys. I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. And we'll go from there. Again, super chat if you guys want. That'd be great. So here we go. Jada Chris, 1984. Are we keeping Sean Desai? I don't see it. What's Sean Desai going to do if Matt Eberflus is the head coach now? He's a defensive coordinator. He's going to be calling the defense. Sean Desai was the defensive coordinator for the Bears. So either he takes a downgrade in terms of his role, or he goes to another team. But it's going to be Eberflus calling the defense. So I don't really see how we keep Sean Desai. There's a lot of Seahawks fans calling for him. I saw that on Twitter. So no, my answer is I don't think we should keep Sean Desai, which is sad because I like Sean Desai. I thought the Bears defense played really well towards the end of the year, and that's why I was so for going after an offensive guy because our defense is not the problem. All right, Cameron Davis, Ryan, and Matt back again. That's right. We don't have Pace and Nagy, but we got Poles and Eberflus. In all seriousness, folks, what are the chances that we hire a GM and head coach and they have the same damn first name? What are the chances of that? Like, I don't want to see what the chances of that are. If that's ever happened in NFL history, I know it's weird, but I don't know if that's a stat. Kevin McKee, does a new coach mean new staff? Absolutely. Absolutely. We are going to get a new staff with Matt Eberflus, he's going to bring these guys on board. That's going to be the next video I'm going to talk about is offensive coordinators, who he's going to bring in on his staff. Who does he have connections with? I'm going to put a video for that sometime probably today or tomorrow. Tom Butlin, how's your day going so far? It's okay. I really feel like I'm getting back to the grind here, putting out a lot of content for you guys. Got to go work out a little bit later, but it's been a solid day. I can't complain. Nonchalantis 54 Faiz, I was waiting for your take on this because I'm disappointed in this nonsense. Look, I gave my take. I let you guys know I felt the videos, I'm putting them out consistently. I hope you have post notifications on because I've been putting them out literally every day. So you should know my take on this. Ian Osario, Matt Ryan as our quarterback. Look, let's not get crazy with the Matt and with the Ryan thing here, okay? Just because you got Matt Nagy, and then you had Matt Eberflus, and then Ryan Pace, Ryan Poles. Now we want to combine that and get Matt Ryan. Yeah, Justin Fields is our quarterback. All right, here we go. We got our first super chat. King Pookie Nation Alvarez. Why did we hire a defensive coach? Because the O-line was the weakness. So, okay, good super chat here again, guys. Submit a super chat if you want me to for sure answer your questions because there's a lot, but I'm going to try to get to these. So we hired, I believe, a defensive head coach because of the fact that I believe the offensive head coaches that look to be out there didn't seem to be that strong, right? We take a look at the guys out there, and obviously my pick was Brian Daboll. He still doesn't have a job yet. So again, I'm not saying Brian Daboll isn't good. Clearly, I wanted him, but the fact that he still doesn't have a job yet is speaking volumes to me. But there's still 5 other head coaching positions available. So I do think he will land one. But as far as why I believe we went with Eberflus, to me, folks, it's just that he's a solid hire. I think it's Ryan Poles kind of taking a look at the fact that, we want some discipline back in the Bears team. We had a lot of penalties with Nagy and Eberflus in his defense. They don't get penalized a lot. We wanted a guy who was going to be a no-nonsense guy. That's what Eberflus seems like. And I'm sure he has a development plan in place for Justin Fields. But to me, overall, my short answer is going to be I just felt like the offensive coaches didn't seem as strong as the defensive coaches in this free agent pool for coaches. All right, let's go here. Alex Wetzel. As a Vikings fan, congratulations on the hiring of both your GM and head coach. I want to see some more great games between us. Yeah, absolutely. You guys hired a great GM from the Browns. I think he's going to be spectacular. I liked him a lot. So I wish you guys the best of luck as well. Dave O'Dada, I'm indifferent about the pick. Most people don't know that he was a QB coach in Dallas in 2017. I trust the pick, and I'm sure he'll bring in a good OC. Yeah, he was the passing game coordinator, Dave, I believe. I was surprised by that in 2017, 2018. Like, that was interesting to me. So, yeah, let's see. Look, Matt Eberflus, who he brings on as the offensive coordinator, will be the number one biggest decision that he's going to make. Number one biggest decision. And I haven't really decided who I want as the OC. I've been doing research. A lot of you guys have reached out to me, told me about guys. I think Ian Rappaport tweeted about the Eagles passing game coordinator. I think his name is Kevin P. I'm trying to remember his last name here, if I could pull it up for you guys. And then there's Mike McDaniel from the 49ers, their offensive coordinator, but would he take a lateral move? Maybe he's looking for a coaching gig. So I'm trying to look for who would be that offensive coordinator because that's the biggest decision by far. All right, here we go. Bears fan from Portugal, Marcio Osario. Appreciate that, Marcio. All the way from Portugal, man. Shout out. AEW fan, lots of buzz. Mike McDaniel and Kevin O'Connell are the OC targets. Was Kevin O'Connell the guy that I was reading about? Because I thought it was somebody else. I'm pulling up Kevin Patullo. That is what Ian Rappaport tweeted. Eagles passing game coordinator. Yes, Mike McDaniel, a lot of guys have brought him up as well. Seems like a very bright guy for the 49ers. I'm trying to read in between the tea leaves here. The Cowboys OC, Kellen Moore. Again, would these guys take a lateral move? Right? It's one thing to offer them the head coaching position because that's like an upgrade, right? There's only 32 of these jobs. But would somebody who's already in that position take another one of those positions? So that's to me like maybe Mike McDaniel's intriguing because Kyle Shanahan calls the plays for the 49ers. So he would kind of be getting an upgrade because he would be calling the plays in Chicago, something he probably doesn't do in San Fran because Kyle Shanahan runs that show. Gordon Shumway, I agree. It's a solid hire, not exciting. We just got to hope Poles knows what he's doing and get a great OC. We'll see. Yeah, look, folks, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because I'm a Bears fan and I want them to succeed. But my true feelings are I am not super excited about these hires, and that's okay. The fact is, you're not gonna like them all the time, right? Let's see here. Lots of NFL Network chatter on Doug Peterson as OC AEW fan. I didn't see that actually. Interesting. Let's see here, folks. Trying to see if I can answer new questions for you guys. Um, Trace Conlone, Conlone, if I pronounce that correctly, I apologize. Where do you see Mooney as a wide receiver one? What does Poles do at wide receiver? Darnell Mooney to me is a wide receiver two in a best case scenario situation where we have talent. He would be a wide receiver two. If he's a wide receiver one, I'm not so sure about that. What does he do at wide receiver? I believe A-Rob leaves. So we're going to have Mooney. I think we draft another wide receiver because you really don't have much on this roster in terms of the wide receiver position. So that will be something. Maybe Calvin Ridley, you know, comes in here. But if Dan Quinn would have been the guy we hired, I would have thought that connection would have been better because reportedly Calvin Ridley's on the trade market, but who knows? Caldwell for Joseph Matusik. Caldwell for QB coach. McDaniel for OC. I would love that. I would love that. I'll tell you that right now. Jim Caldwell as head coach, I did not want. Jim Caldwell as OC and or quarterbacks coach, I like that. Let's see here. All right, guys, I'm trying to scroll through these. Chicago fan for life. Only the Bears would fire Ryan and Matt just to hire Ryan and Matt. I hear you. Oh boy. Sludge, you should try to reach out to Akeem Hicks for an interview. I'd love to hear what he has to say. Yeah, man. See if Akeem stays on the team next year. But yeah, would love to do that. Twin Quist. I like that Poll is an O-line guy. Would have been lacking in O-line. We've been lacking in O-line since 2007. I agree. I think that was the biggest change for Justin Fields is Ryan Poles is going to fix this offensive line. If there's one thing I am guaranteeing you guys Ryan Poles is going to do, he will fix this offensive line. He might not fix the receiving core. He might not fix Justin Fields and let him improve. He might not do anything else, but he's going to fix that damn offensive line. That's one thing I know he's going to do because he's a former offensive lineman. Justin Etheridge with a super chat. Thank you, Justin. The McCaskey family decided it's cheaper to not pay for a real head coach. Instead, they're selling the 17th best defensive head coach. Now, look, I'm not a big fan of the McCaskies, Justin, but Matt Eberflus is good at his job. As the defensive coordinator for the Colts in the 4 years he was there, they were top 10 in points allowed in terms of not allowing points to teams, right? Top 10 in that. And top 10 in a lot of other defensive categories. So Matt Eberflus is good as a defensive coordinator. He's good at his job. The question is he going to be a good head coach? And that's where I'm, questioning it. And also, a lot of people, you know what? I want to talk about this and let me sit up a little bit. A lot of people talk about, look at Brandon Staley with Justin Herbert. Look at Sean McDermott with Josh Allen. You can have a defensive guy and still have your quarterback succeed. No one is saying you can't. No one's saying you can't. It's all about optimization. It's all about are you doing everything in your power to help Justin Fields? And you guys all saw the Chiefs-Bills game. You guys all saw in the playoffs, it's all about the offense, putting up 30 points, right? Putting up 35, 40 points. And to me, I'm not saying you can't have a defensive head coach and succeed, but why wouldn't you want to hire an offensive guy who can structure and build a system around Justin Fields? If everything else hits for the Bears, great O-line, great defense, great receiving core, everything else, great special teams, but Justin Fields doesn't pan out, none of it matters. Because I promise you, the Bears are not going to win a Super Bowl if that's the case, right? It's just not going to happen. You take a look at the teams left in the playoffs. Look, 49ers, Rams, Bengals, Chiefs. Three of the four have great quarterbacks in Mahomes, uh, Joe Burrow, and Matthew Stafford. The one that doesn't is Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers. That's probably the team that you don't think is going to win the Super Bowl. So I'm not saying like you can't succeed, but why wouldn't you if you have the opportunity? Why wouldn't you? Jaden Cruz with the super chat. Do you think the Bears will trade Mac for picks? Look, that's going to depend, Jaden, on if they decide to rebuild and trade away their key strong players, or they decide to retool. If they rebuild, they're going to trade Khalil Mack, they're going to trade Robert Quinn, and try to get something out for those guys. If they decide to retool, I don't think they will. My gut tells me I don't think they try to rebuild. I think they'll try to retool because now is the time to go after it with Justin Fields on a rookie deal. You can afford to spend at other positions because you're not paying your quarterback a lot. So I think they'll retool. I think they'll keep Mack and Robert Quinn. Got another super chat, one SND. What do you think will happen with Desai if we have a defense coordinator head coach? I told you this at the beginning. I think Desai is gone. I don't know why Sean Desai would take a downgrade at his position, right? He was the defense coordinator for the Bears. Matt Eberflus is useless if he's not calling the defense. That's what his literally MO is. So Sean Desai either has to take a downgrade or he has to go to another team. I think he leaves. That's just how I feel. Let's see here. Jake Lieberman, when do you think we can expect a press conference? It should be very soon. I think they were waiting until the head coach was hired, so I expect it to be probably, what is it, Thursday right now? Sometime. If it's not tomorrow, it's obviously going to be next week. So I'm going to say probably sometime next week. They need the guys to come and fly in and do all that stuff, so probably next week. Cole V, Mike Kafka, Brian Daboll, Joe Brady, Eric Bieniemy, Marcus Brady, top 5 offensive coordinators. Yeah, some of those guys I like a lot. Eric Bieniemy and Brian Daboll, I don't see how or why the heck they would come and take a lateral move to the Bears if they're already in great positions. If you're going to stay as an OC, stay where you are with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Why the heck would you come to the Bears if you're not going to be the head coach? So I don't see that happening. The other ones, maybe. Let's see here. Red Hat Duck. Oh, I lost your question. Dabble interviewed poorly. Also, he ignores his running backs and had Josh getting his head busted getting running yards. Look, I don't know about his interview. Obviously, I wish I had insight into that. But as far as him ignoring his running backs and Josh getting his head busted, look, Josh Allen is a big guy. And Josh Allen, in some of those design runs, he tends to do that himself. And I don't like that. Justin Fields tends to do that sometimes too. So I don't think that's Brian Daboll. I do agree he does not use his running backs a lot. But here's the thing, right? It depends on, you know, what you have at quarterback. Josh Allen and the passing game is more effective than the run game for the Bills. I'm not saying you can't have a balance, but you could see why he probably wants the passing game more than the running game. It's the same reason why you'd want to pass more in Kansas City than run. You got Patrick Mahomes. So, yeah, I want a balance too, but I want more of what works. So that's just where I'm at. Yeah, a lot of you guys are asking about Sean Payton. I actually meant to make a video on him. I'll probably get to it today. Sean Payton, to me, hear me out on this. I feel very, very confident. Sean Payton, to me, is taking a year off and coming back. He's taking a year off, coming back. I don't think he's done coaching. I don't think he's retiring for good. He's coming back, and I believe he will be coaching the Cowboys. I think he's going to take that job. Jerry Jones is going to be knocking on his door, firing Mike McCarthy, knocking on Sean Payton's door to come and get the Dallas Cowboys back to the Super Bowl. Could you imagine that? I don't see him coming to the Bears, especially now that we hired Matt Eberflus. Mario Giovanni. Why do I get the feeling Eberflus being a Quinn clone with no experience? Yeah. Look, it came down to Dan Quinn and Matt Eberflus. Those were the two finalists. Jim Caldwell was another one, but he got ruled out kind of at the end there. And between the two, folks, honestly, I prefer Dan Quinn because he would have had a better staff. That's what I've been hearing. They both seem the same to me. It wasn't much different, so I agree with you. They kind of seem like the same. So it wasn't really much there. and the Broncos ended up hiring Nathaniel Hackett. They didn't even hire Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn didn't even get a job. He's going back to the Cowboys. He's going back to the Cowboys. So Dan Quinn, the two finalists that he was the finalist for two jobs. Chicago, Denver doesn't even get both of them. Nathaniel Hackett gets the Denver job. That's good for them. I'm glad they went after an offensive guy. He's going to go ahead and try to help them pursue Aaron Rodgers, which I think is possible. I think Aaron Rodgers is done in Green Bay. Preview for a video coming up where I talk about what happens with Aaron Rodgers next. Mine Techno. If Fields struggles again this year, should the Bears draft another QB? No. Um, Not yet. Justin Fields gets 2 more years. He pretty much gets the same amount of time Mitchell Trubisky gets, which is that 4-year rookie contract deal, right? You get a chance to extend him or not. Justin Fields in his first year, pretty much a wash. Second year, again, you hope quarterbacks make that leap. But to me, he really gets 2 years, next year and the year after that. All right, I'm seeing some trolls in the comments here. We're asking for Kurt Warner and Tim Tebow for OC. Hope you guys aren't serious. Fun size 198. How can you be so sure he'd have the better staff? I believe you're asking about Dan Quinn. I'm not saying I'm sure. I'm just saying that's what I've read, that Dan Quinn had a wider pool and more people ready and willing to come be part of his staff than I've heard about Matt Eberflus. Nick Haynes, Fields has running ability and Herbert also showed his ability. How do you feel about trading Monty? Um, Look, Monty might be up for an extension. I like Khalil Herbert a lot. Um, Trading Monty depends on the offensive philosophy on this team. Uh, I am of the mindset that, you know, the NFL is going towards using multiple running backs, not just one, because you don't want to run one into the ground. So as of right now, I do want to keep Monty, but it depends on the money. If we got to pay him and he's asking for a lot, don't mind trading him. Torian Woodfield, David Kaplan confirmed that Dayball had trouble putting together a staff. So this is something that I've heard too. I want to give credit to the Bears blog, Jeff on Twitter. He's been nailing this stuff, nailing this stuff. He's been right every second of the way. And one of the things that he mentioned uh, is that the offensive coordinators that don't have previous head coaching experience had trouble putting together staffs. Okay, that's fine. But that shouldn't be the reason that they are not getting hired. Meaning, there better have been something else. Because I'm going to tell you right now, uh, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, all these OCs you see that turned into head coaches that were offensive guys, they got their first opportunity. So that better not have been the only reason that you're going after another guy or you're ruling out Brian Daboll. That could be a bad thing, a detriment, but it better not have been the only reason. That's all I'm saying. And I don't doubt that he had trouble putting together their staff. BTH, Mike Williams, Chris Godwin, Gallup ranked them in order for the Bears. I mean, this one's easy. Chris Godwin is the best receiver there, then Mike Williams, and then Michael Gallup. Actually, you could probably interchange Godwin and Williams. I don't know who's younger, but those two for sure, and then Michael Gallup. A Rowdy Man 777. We're getting Tariq Cohen back this season, right? Yeah, man. Cohen out all season last year. Almost forgot about him, but yeah, he should be back. Marky Mark R. Love your videos and detailed breakdowns. Appreciate that, man. I'm gonna do more of these lives, guys. I love answering you guys' questions. This is good because sometimes it gets hard to get through the comments, and uh, I want to be able to directly talk to you guys. So I'm gonna definitely do more of these. Let's see. Probably hang around here for another couple minutes and then call it a day. Do you guys have any other questions you guys want me to talk about specifically? We have Sleeping Angels. We have to wait on development of Justin Fields. We can't just give up on him after 2 years. Yeah, of course, no one's saying give up on Justin Fields, but they asked me about the timeline. And if you don't see improvement in Justin Fields, yeah, absolutely. What's around him matters. But if you don't see improvement in Justin Fields in the next year, in the next 2 years, that's a problem. That's a problem because Talent shines through. Even this year, you saw in an unideal situation, you saw the talent, right? Justin Fields' stats were awful this year. Awful. He had a bad rookie year statistically. Okay? Worst QBR out of all qualified 32 starting quarterbacks. Worst QBR. And yet and still, you saw the potential. That's because talent shines through. You can be put in the worst situation, but can your talent shine through? Deshaun Watson with the Houston Texans. You remember that? First year, literally, Texans have nothing around him. You saw the talent. We saw the deep passes, the accuracy, the things that we know it's talent when you see it. You saw that. So that's why you see the hope there with Justin Fields that he can turn into that. All right, we got another super chat. Bryce Owen, appreciate you, Bryce. I personally like this hire. As a defensive coach, you can help Justin see defenses differently than what he could have had as an offensive head coach. Now we need an OC. That's a great point. That's a great point. If you were that good as a defensive coach, you could tell, yo, this is how the defensive coverages happen. That's how these guys will move in this position, et cetera, et cetera. You should be, as a defensive head coach, be able to help out with that. But the last part of what you said, now we need an OC. That's it, right there. If Matt Eberflus ends up being great in terms of having his defenses ready, but Justin Fields doesn't develop and the offense doesn't turn it into a solid offense, he'll get fired. So the offense coordinator is too important. He absolutely can impact Justin Fields and help him, but the OC is the most important thing. It's the most important thing, right? And I saw another comment, right? I'm trying to debunk a lot of these theories. People are saying, and I agree with this first part. People are saying if you hire an offensive coach, then in a year or two, if they're really good, if they panned out, then you're gonna have to get rid of them, right? Because it's not get rid of them. Excuse me. They're gonna get hired somewhere else, which is true, right? If you're really good, you tend to get a head coaching job. Well, here's the thing, like in that instance, does that mean that the offense is automatically good and Justin Fields turns into a star and he's going to be fine the rest of the way? Not necessarily, right? We do expect if Brian Daboll leaves, Josh Allen to still be good, right? I totally get that. But I can give examples of where that's not the case. Matt Ryan won the MVP with Kyle Shanahan as his OC. Kyle Shanahan leaves and Matt Ryan's not the same guy. He's still a good quarterback. He didn't all of a sudden become washed or all of a sudden turn awful. He was always a solid quarterback, but he went back to what he was, solid. So that's the impact that an OC has. And when Kyle Shanahan left, the magic was gone. You didn't have MVP Matt Ryan. You didn't have getting to the Super Bowl Matt Ryan. So yes, that is a problem. Your staff leaves in a year or two, that's a problem. Justin Fields could still be good like he was under the staff, but he won't be this exact same. It won't be the exact same. Let's see here. Um, Jaden Cruz, bring in Zach Levine as our new wide receiver when he's got hops. Did you guys see that video with Zach and Justin? I think he was at the the Bulls game. That was nice to see. So yeah, no, Zach's got hops, obviously. Andy Banks, I'm thinking Jim Caldwell comes in to help Eberflus out with Fields as OC. Potentially, I've seen reports about Pep Hamilton coming on as well. QB, OC, quarterback, coach position. Let's see. Zamin Ahmed, do you think Doug Peterson could come as OC? I don't think he would take an OC job. I think Doug Peterson has too much pride at this point in his career to take an OC job. This man won a Super Bowl as a head coach. I don't think he's taking an OC job. Victor Antonio, do we bring in an OC from college? I don't think so. It's too risky. You need an offensive coordinator that you know can develop and put an offense around Justin Fields. Too risky to bring a college guy. Carl, Winston threw for 30 TDs and 4,000 yards in a bad year. Yeah, the talent will shine through, guys. We'll know if Justin Fields can play or not, regardless of what's put around him, because you will see the talent. But yes, if you have the ability to optimize the situation and put talent around Justin Fields, you do so. if you have the opportunity to surround him with a good head coach, an offensive minded head coach that can design a system around him, you need to do so. Yeah, King Jansen. Matt Nagy was an offensive coordinator, so my expectations was a higher powered offense, but boy, we were wrong. Here's the thing. All right. Just because you make a mistake with hiring an offensive coordinator doesn't mean every other offensive coordinator is bad, right? It's the same analogy you can apply to finding quarterbacks. You literally draft quarterbacks until you find one. You keep trying. Same thing with a head coach that can help develop an offense. Keep trying. Like just because one offensive coordinator didn't pan out doesn't mean another won't. Keep trying. There's a lot to talk about here, guys. But yeah, Eric Bieniemy, no idea why he didn't. Anthony Wicker, Eric Bieniemy, no idea why he doesn't get opportunities, man. And no, he's not gonna come for an OC job. Just scrap that. Eric Bieniemy and Brian Daboll are not taking OC jobs, folks. They're going after head coaching jobs because there's situations at OC right now. You might as well stay. King Jansen Faiz, I'm a Bears fan in Hawaii. I just want to say what a good job you're doing covering the Bears and the Bulls news. Thanks for all you do, man. I appreciate that, man. I do it for you guys, but also because I love this and I'm passionate about it. Will Matt Nagy be on a staff anywhere this cycle? I don't think so. I think maybe he could get like a I don't know, like an assistant job somewhere else, but we'll see. Yeah, I saw a couple of I forgot who asked this question. Somebody asked about Lovey as a defense coordinator. I saw a couple of the Bears players, Peanut Tillman, um, Lance Briggs talking about bringing back Rod Marinelli and Lovey Smith. Folks, what are you trying to do here? What are you trying to do here? Bring back the 2010s defense, like in terms of the 2005, 2006 team? Like, I don't want to bring back guys like that just because of the nostalgia. Stop it, please. It's 2022. Let's move on. All right, guys, I'm gonna get on out of here. We'll try to get a video out for the OC coordinators that I like. But yeah, let's see, man. I appreciate you guys for hanging with me, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bear down.